WI. It's totally related to that. Okay. So before starting, we'll first the motivational quote. When obstacles arise, you change your direction to reach your goal. You do not change your decision to get there. Right? So this is present. In present situation, it is very important. Download Adda 24/7 app on your mobile to get the latest updates on all the banking exams as well as other government exams. You also get the study material as well as the live classes for the same. Okay. Use this code Y432 to avail a discount of 77% on the Adda 24/7 app. Okay. So share it with your friends also on various social media platforms. So let's start with today's example. So here, I'll be solving here roughly 3 to 4 problems in this half an hour, which are of importance to you and which will give you the understanding. Here, important part over here is not solving the problems. Important part over here is making you understand what is in that. Okay. So what is haircut first? Anybody of you knows what is haircut here? Haircut means basically the percentage of collateral which is to be reduced, or the percentage of this loan or exposure which is to be increased, so that you get your correct value at risk, VAR. Okay. So haircut is given by RBI basically nowadays. And also RBI has told the banks to arrive at advanced methods where they themselves can design their own haircuts. So let's start with the problems. There is an exposure of ₹100 to an unrated corporate having no rating from an external agency, having a maturity of 3 years, which is secured by equity shares outside the main index, having the market value of ₹100. So this is just an example. Means what? See here we won't be solving any problem. We'll be only this point I have taken to only make you understand what do you mean by haircut. See here, the exposure is ₹100. Okay, means loan is ₹100. Now let's consider the haircut given for the exposure is 12%. Okay. Now, if the exposure given is 12% or a haircut given is 12% for this exposure, then what is the exposure to be reported in VAR? So that is 12% addition to ₹100. So that is 112. So this will be my exposure which is reported. Now let's consider this also. This equity shares means what is the collateral? Equity shares. But equity shares means which equity shares? Outside the main index. Okay. Which are the main indices in India? See, only two, BSE and NSE. Outside the main indices. So outside that means some companies which are not in Nifty and Sensex. Okay. So this haircut for this also will be there. So what can be the haircut? Let's consider this as 25%. Okay. Now haircut for this is 25%. So now what have I to do? What did I tell you earlier? See this. Haircut for collateral is to be reduced. And haircut for loans or exposure is to be increased. Okay. So this we have calculated 12% haircut. So addition we have done it. This 100 minus 25%. So this will be 75 now. So what is the amount of collateral now? Means adjusted collateral. So what is that amount? That is 75. So what is my VAR now? What is my VAR now? VAR means what? Value at risk. Okay. Or so basically that VAR, that is the main concern of every bank to be reported to RBI. So what is the VAR now? 112 minus 75. Okay. 112 minus 75. So again, I'm telling you the same thing. In collateral, reduce the the amount. In loans, increase the amount. Okay, for haircut, using haircuts. Now next, this is a typical problem. BB means basically it's a formula, the formula which is to be used. BBB rated foreign currency corporate borrower secured by collateral of rupees 100 by way of A plus rated corporate bonds with a maturity of 6 years. Formula for approved. Now this is the answer I have given. So here what we have considered in exam, you will be given this haircut for what is the haircut for collateral, what is the haircut for the loan, everything will be given to you. Okay, and there are 3 types of collaterals. One is under normal FD lien, second is this financial collaterals, this one. Okay, basically these 2 only we consider. Third is not considered over here. Okay, so basically remember these 2 only. Okay, so now coming back, what is this BBB rated foreign company corporate borrower? This BBB rated has no value over here. Okay, because you have in this problem basically corporate borrower secured by collateral of rupees 100 by way of A plus corporate bond with a maturity of 6 years. So now let's consider the exposure. What is the exposure? See this, the exposure amount after the applicable haircut, this 12% will be given to you in the exam. Okay, so what will be 12% means 112, right? Now see, look at this formula. C is for collateral, E is for exposure. So that's why C collateral, it is reduced, and E exposure, it is always increased. Means this HE will be additional outside 1 point something. Okay, so now C collateral into 1 minus HC. What is this HC? Haircut for that collateral. What is this HFX? Haircut for foreign exchange. Means where does this come into picture? If the collateral is in some other currency and the loan given is in some other currency. If these 2 are different, only then HFX comes into picture. Okay. Now HFX generally is considered as 8%. Generally, I am not saying all. Okay. Specifically for your CAIIB exams. So it is generally considered 8%. But when, only when this foreign, this means both the things, means loan as well as this collateral are in different currencies. Okay, and what is this MF? MF is maturity factor. Now maturity factor comes in picture when, see this, maturity factor will come in picture when the loan's maturity and the collateral's maturity are different. Understand this. Different means what? Again, there is a problem in this different. If the loan is for 3 years and the collateral is for 6 years, maturity of collateral, then do I consider this MF? No. Why? Because collateral has more years now. Means let's say in this case, this borrower, this loan is given for 3 years, let's say. And this collateral is for corporate bond. That is a collateral. That is for 6 years. So in that case, do I consider this maturity factor? No. Okay. So here it is considered that the loan is lesser than 6 years. Okay. In exam, you will be given everything. You will be given the maturity of the loan. You will be given the maturity of the collateral. Okay. Then you will be given this HC. You will be given this HFX. And this MF, either you will be given or you have to find out. For finding it out, there is a separate formula. Okay, that will cover in some other problem. What is this E now? This is exposure. And what is this HE? Haircut for exposure. Okay, so now let's consider this E means all these formulas. So what is the, now we'll this E and HE. So haircut 12% means HE will be 1.12 and exposure is 100. So 100 into 1.12. So it will be 112. Okay, done. Now about this C now. In this C, the loan maturity is less than 6 years. It's not given over here, but it is less than 6 years. In exam, you will be given over here. Okay. So then this MF will be what? That will be 1. Because why? Because the loan is lesser and the collateral is for the longer period. Okay. MF is 1. Now what about this HC and HFX? So what is given in the question? Foreign currency corporate borrower secured by collateral of ₹100. So there is a currency difference. Foreign currency corporate borrower and collateral is in rupees. So that's why this HFX will come in picture now. Okay. Now once this HFX comes in picture, what is the percentage for HFX? HFX is generally 8%. Okay. And what is the HC? HC we have considered 12% for both. Both means this collateral also as well as this exposure also. So what will I do now? This HC 12% and this HFX 8%. So 12 plus 8, 20%. Right? What will I do now? 1 minus 20%. So 20% means 0.2. Right? Simple. 20%. It means 20 upon 100. That is equal to 0.2. So 1 minus 0.2, right? 1 minus 0.2, that is 0.8, right? 0.8 into what? This collateral. What is the collateral amount? 100 only. See this 100. Both the amounts are same. So both, it's 100 again. So what do I do now? 100 into 0.8. So that is 80 now. So now my collateral value is what? 80. And my exposure value is what? 112. So now what happens? What is my VAR now? 112 minus 80, value at risk. Okay. So it is 32 rupees. Okay. Next. The haircut for exposure as well as collateral will be 25%. There is no mismatch in this case. That's okay. The volatility adjusted exposure and collateral after application of haircuts are 125 and 75 respectively. Okay. See here, what is this problem about? Look at this problem. In this problem, what do we have? There is a problem given of loan as well as a collateral. Okay. And the haircut given is 25% for both. Got it? For both. Now it's simple. You can immediately find it out. How? 100 into 25% add for this loan exposure. So 125. And this collateral decrease. So 75. So what is the VAR now? 125 minus 75. That is what? 50. It's so simple. You will get such problems in exams. Means they are so simple that you can easily earn 1 mark. And mind well, 1 mark, the importance of 1 mark, many of you might be knowing. What is the difference between 49 marks and 50 marks in CAIIB? Many of you might be knowing, right? So that's why these all 1 mark problems here. My logic is very simple. I know everyone amongst you watching this video might have got some 30-35 marks roughly. Okay. In some attempt. But my job at Adda 24/7 is to make you go from this 30 to 35 range to 50 to 55 range, at least, so that you can clear the CAIIB. Okay. So these are all the concepts, these are all the problems which make you go from 30, 35 to 50. Okay. Now let's consider one more problem about this. Let me see if it is there. Yeah. There is a demand loan of ₹100 secured by bank's own deposit of ₹125. Now, this is very simple and this is very important. This will test your logic. Demand loan, rupees 100. Own deposit means FD, let's say 125. Now, what will be the haircut for this deposit? Because collateral is what? This deposit. What will be the haircut for this collateral? The collateral will be nil. Why? This HC, see this, HC and HFX is 0, own deposit, right? So what is HC over here? Even HC is 0. Why? Because it's your own deposit, own FD, right? Own, so your bank's FD, your bank's loan. So that's why this HC will be 0 over here. So the haircuts for exposure and collateral would be 0, right? Because you are securing the loan by your own deposit. So adjusted exposure and collateral after applications of haircuts will be 100 and 125 only. Therefore, net exposure for the purpose of RWA would be 0. Now, what is this? What do you mean by this? Net exposure for the purpose of RWA, risk-weighted assets, would be 0. Now, what do you mean by 0? Now, in this case, let me explain. In this case, what is the net exposure at risk? What is the net exposure at risk over here? I'll say 0. Why? Because if tomorrow this loan goes for a NPA sort, then what can I do? I'll immediately break this FD, right? So what is the exposure now? 0. So remember always, any loan which is secured by your own deposit of same maturity, maturity is also important, same or greater maturity collateral, means FD. Any loan secured by your own FD of same maturity or higher maturity collateral will have a 0 net exposure for the purpose of RWA will be 0 for that. Okay. So these were the problems which I wanted to take today so that you understand the concept of VAR, value at risk, and the RWA. RWA calculations are totally a bit different because there we have to consider all that capital risk, operations risk, and market risk. There we have to calculate it that way. So my concept, my purpose of this video was only this, was to make you understand what do you mean by VAR and show you the examples. Okay. So what have we covered today? We have covered the problems on value at risk calculations. Which means that is the basic purpose over here. So again, I would say you use this code Y432 to avail the flat 77% discount on Adda 24/7 app. Share it with your friends. Get us on the paid media also. There I take the live lectures. Means here it's only half an hour. There I take the live lectures of 1.5 hours or 2 hours roughly. Okay. So join me there and I'll meet you there. Okay.